Hey, what is up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering online league. We're back once again with Eldrazi Ramp on the draw for game 1. No changes to the deck just yet. Gonna get about a week's worth of data to get a good baseline, and then we'll make some adjustments. Mainly going to be testing out Ancient Stirrings again. This hand is interesting. It could be really good if we draw into a 7-mana value spell. I mean, it's keepable, right? We have 10 7-mana value spells. Yeah, we can keep this. We still are able to play a Rumble on 2, so we can make this work. We'll pass. Misty Rainforest, pass. There's our 7-mana value spell we were hoping for. We'll imprint Aragast, cast Talisman, and pass. Still not 100% certain on what we're playing against. We'll find out in a few moments, I imagine. Or at least get an idea. Fetch with Misty Rainforest and Meticulous Archive. Spell Snare off the top. Imagine they wanted that in hand. Could still be Oculus. Could be Control. Another Lab. Let's attempt to cast Rumble number 1. Spell Snare. Alright. In that case, we'll cast Rumble number 2. Tune the narrative, so this seems like it might be Control. Hi, Butter. Can I help you, bud? Is this what I get for not closing the door? I'll grab the Temple. And we'll pass, and hold up the ability to respond. Hi, sir. No playing with wires. Do you want some lap time? Come on. Oh, come here. You 14-pound menace. A Harbinger? Now this really was unexpected. Okay. Yeah, we got nothing, so let that resolve. I'll play the Temple. I suppose we attempt to resolve command here, exiling the Harbinger. Thank God for that noise. Hold up the ability to respond again. If they had a force, we were so SOL. So this looks like maybe band control. I feel like we played against this or something similar yesterday, though we didn't see the Harbingers. Worldbreaker. Well, the good news is we have the Cavernous Souls named Eldrazi. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're gonna hold on to those spawns for the life of us. And let's get rid of the green source. No. Resolve and pass. Once again, hold up the ability to respond. To Fairy. Fairy resolves. Take down to Fairy, targeting Talisman. That will resolve. Okay. Go to combat. Let's attack down to Fairy. Don't want any instant speed board wipe shenanigans if I can help it. Well, okay. Let's play Lab. I'm tempted to Aragast next turn. Talisman of Impulse. And red. And at this point, I'll pass and hold up the command. Like I said, we can Aragast next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I want to empty our hand. Set up the Airgas though. Lauren reveal. Lorien reveal. Well, let's scry draw. I think at this point we just send it. Oh, and you're playing a flyers. Alright, sir. No more. I was wondering why my inputs weren't registering. He knocked me off of wired connection onto Wi-Fi. You know, a little pest is what he is. Alright. Well, let's see, what do we want? Bottom, bottom, bottom. Let's go top, top, and top. I should have picked a different land, but here we are. Because now I can go green. Nope. Yes, want to cast World Breaker. Get rid of Archive. No. I mean, right now we don't actually need to think about Aragast, I don't think. Because we can attack, right? I guess we don't have lethal on board, or if I do cast the Aragast, we do have lethal. Yeah, that's fine. So let's commercial district, keep Karn on top. Let's emerge the Aragast from you. Red, red. Goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're short. No. Oh, Jesus Christ. I pressed the wrong thing. Like a dummy. Got slightly distracted. A text came through, and it's like the sound of the text message just short circuits your brain's like, I need to respond to that. And then you just aren't paying as much attention. I do wonder. This is probably excessive, but I'm really tempted to do it just because I can. I'm gonna return World Breaker to hand. Gonna sacrifice the Ugin Lab. We're gonna cast by emerging, sacrificing the World Breaker. Getting rid of the Hallowed Fountain. And pass. That's actually one cool thing you can do with Aragast and multiple World Breakers is for 4 mana you basically can just rinse, repeat, return. Opponent scoops it up. Yeah, definitely messed up just a bit by not triggering Aragast. Thankfully it didn't matter. The 3 cards you would have found were 2 Karns and a Stomping Ground into Wooded Foothills. So this looks like control. Win for game 1. Let's run it back. Probably don't want the returns. We want the Chrysalis in. We'll be on the draw, so we keep the Cavern. Karn is kind of medium here. like, do we want some number of Stone Brain? The question is what we're trying to hit. We don't know the exact build they're on is the only problem, and why I don't really like Stone Brain in this instance. We saw it yesterday against Control as well, where it's kind of meh. Stone Rain is okay, not great. Like, maybe we keep a return in? Otherwise, what else? Chalice doesn't feel good here. EE doesn't feel good here. I guess maybe a Brain, maybe two. Cut a Karn. Yeah, we can do that. That seems reasonable. On the draw for game 2, we do have the Gemstone. That was actually really good. Because we can go Gemstone, Temple, Talisman. I think we just ditched the Ghost Quarter, so I'll keep this. Pre-game action, Gemstone, Ghost Quarter, and pass. All the Storm Giants. So they probably have a spell Snare and or a Consign, but we'll try and play through it. Okay, that resolves. Pass. And they pass. Chrysalis is good here. A little bit worried about a Harbinger, however, so I think I just play the Wooded Foothills and pass. We'll fetch. Yeah, because they countered the Chrysalis and then play Harbinger. We're pretty much just SOL. To Fairy. I will fetch in response. Grab a commercial district. Another temple. Temple's okay, but we really do need some action here. Let's command. X equals 2. Bottom, bottom, top and draw. Man, finding nothing. Probably bounces my talisman. Yep, that's fine. We draw. Find a Rumble. I can cast Rumble right now. Do I want to do it before or after casting Chrysalis, though? I think we do want to cast the Chrysalis. Let's fetch for a green source. There's the World Breaker. We'll hold up the commands, I think. And pass. Okay. Could have a Supreme Verdict. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go to combat and attack to fairy. I think playing into this verdict would be bad. Tef down. Let's play lab. Imprint breaker. Do we want to play the talisman though? Yeah, we'll play the talisman, see if they want to counter it. We're just gonna pass. I swear they have the verdict, so. There's Hedge Maze. Okay. Another land, and then passing. Oh, I'll cast a command. I'm gonna be a bit reserved, not using these spawns if I don't have to right now. At least not openly into a counterspell. Okay. Cavernous Souls. Well, I'll attack the Chrysalis. Return Worldbreaker to hand. Play Cavernous Souls, name Eldrazi. Let's get rid of that Hall of the Storm Giants. Have a consign. Yep. Alright. And we'll pass. Would have been nice to get rid of that. Opponent's passing. Interesting. Malevolent Rumble. Well, let's see if this resolves. Opponent's gonna counterspell it. Okay. So we could theoretically win this turn, right? We can go 7, 12, and then if I make another more spawns, we can just win on the spot. I feel like it's pretty aggressive though, so I'm going to just play it safe. Just attack with these two, hold up the command, call it a day. Down to 7, lethal's on board. Solitude, Supreme Verdict. In response, yep, that will resolve. And we're going to return Worldbreaker to hand. Sacrifice the lab. And then attempt to resolve command. And resolves. Karn's not doing too much here, so I think we just have the breakers on top into the Myco spawn. Alrighty. Well, let's go for it. So this is going to be 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So I'm sure I'm having 2 breakers. Once again, we're going to go after all the Storm Giants. And pass. Opponent's passing. Well, let's go to combat. Attack for 5. Here's the Solitude. We've been waiting for that. Yep. I'm gonna kick with the Myco Spawn. So let's do it like this. We'll search, then exile. We'll get rid of that Hedge Maze. Island Cycle. So no consign. I'll grab a Sanctum of Ugin. And then I will cast a World Breaker. Let's get rid of Mystic Gate. And I'll search for an Emrakul. Pass. Lethal again is on board. Opponent's going to have 3 lands total. And opponent scoops it up. Clean to a win against Band Control. We'll be back for match 2. Alright, and we're back for match 2 on the draw for game 1. Hand is okay, right? We have a lot of good hits though, which makes me feel like we could keep it. So I'll keep. So I should be on the draw, feels a bit more comfortable. And it'll be drawn to a land, which we have plenty of. However, this is a bit of a risk because if Utopia Sprawl does get countered, we are in such big trouble. So it is a bit of a risky hand, I will admit. Inspiring Vantage. Is this burn? It is. Okay. Well, we found the land we wanted, so good news there. Well, Utopia Sprawl. On red. And pass. And pass. Sacred Foundry, Shock. Planetary Swift Spear, Bolt. Yep. That's going to be down to 11. You might have to use this spawn as a blocker. Utopia Sprawl on the top. Okay. So let's fetch with Wooded Foothills. Forest. Forest Sprawl for red. Use double red for Talisman. Use green colorless for Rumble. I guess I'll grab Temple and pass. So at least we can block now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Are a little bit short, but we do have command. 2 cards in hand. Can they kill me is the question. If not, we have a lot that could go right next turn. I mean, a Mycospawn should get us back into the game. Otherwise, we will have access to blockers, removal, ramp, etc. Searing Blaze? Ugh. Yeah. I had a feeling it might be coming. Fetch. Do you have the bolt for the win? Skewer the critics. Yeah, that'll do it. Alright, you got it. Honestly, in almost any other matchup, that hand would have been good. It being a hyper-aggressive deck like Burn, though? Maybe not. Alright, on to game 2. On the play. Kozilek's Return in. Karn out. Not Ghost Quarter. Ghost Quarter can stay. Gemstone cannot. Maybe actually Karn, no. Actually, Chrysalis is better. Cut to Karn. And I think run it like this. Yeah, we just needed a turn, and we would have been in a much better position. On the play for game 2. Hand's a bit slower than I would like. Knowing what we're up against, I think I will mulligan. Hand would be good if I had a forest. I mean, we could run the gambit. There are 9 hits. I mean, actually a lot of hits. So we have 2 tapped lands. We're running what? 22, so 21, 19. 19 hits. Some of them better than others, of course. Problem is if we don't get the hit, then we're in trouble. Mulligan again. We'll keep this one. Not much in the way of choices. Pass. The good news is we do have the return, so as long as they don't smash to smithereens this talisman, which does make me wonder if I should have kept the second one, we should be fine. Could also wear tear. Bolt 17. Pass. Yeah, most worried about Smash Smithereens, Wear Tear right now. Because otherwise this return can do a lot of work. I don't think there's a card or creature in their deck that survives just a casting of return. I guess Monetary Swiftspear can survive it. Mountain, Guide, Guide attacks, Guide finds, Command. That's good. It's very good, in fact. You seem to have a very slow hand, which is intriguing to me. Imagine Bolt. No, nothing. Interesting. Alright, Islet. Momentary Swiftspear. Another Goblin Guide. I'll take it. I'd rather that over a Monastery Swift Spear. Ultimate attack. Triggers on the stack. 1, 2. What's the next card that was revealed? Devourer. Well, I will turn. What in the world would you have? Oh, I guess you could have Boros Charm. It would be an unorthodox use of it, but it would work. I now have to debate making their creatures indestructible or dealing me 4 damage. Either one deals me 4 damage, right? The thing is, they know we have Devourer on top, which means the Goblin Guides will die regardless next turn. That much is more or less guaranteed. Alright. So I want to say they have Boros Charm. I'll play the Lab. Imprint Devourer and pass, holding up this command. There's the Boros Charm. Down to 10. We can trigger Sanctum of Ugin next turn. Or rather, not next turn, but on my opponent's turn with command. Bolt Wave. Yep. Down to 7. Repassing the end step. Looking like it. I'll cast command. X equals what, 6? Yep. Let's see, this will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 plus 6, 16. So yeah, we can grab an Emrakul. Trigger. Don't need Talisman. Already have an Emrakul. Don't really want to shock this in if I can help it. Alrighty, so we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16. 16 minus 4 would be 12. Is that right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16. So I can't Soin Microspawn and Emrakul, unfortunately. Now we could Rumble and Emrakul most likely. So in that case, let's put Stomping Ground in tapped. It's me 10. Might just be best for us to hold from the Rumble. Another return. There's the Emrakul. We'll take control of your turn. We'll be able to sack a land. Another Boros Charm. Yes, down to 3. So we are in a bit of trouble, I will admit. Let's see what's in their hand. Searing Blaze. Well, they can Lightning Helix themselves. Searing Blaze does require... Okay, so... I can Helix them. And I'm gonna have to sack my spawns. That way they can't Searing Blaze me. I think... Oh, actually, before we do that, cancel. Wooded Foothills. Fetch. Fail to find. Pay a life. Pass. And pass. Draws a card. Finds a land with Barbarian Ring. So they have a Searing Blaze in hand and one unknown. Two Sowing Mycospawns. Now the problem is, if they drew into a land, they have access to Searing Blaze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 minus 4 is 4. The next problem is that Barbarian Ring can deal me 2 damage. So they can deal me 1 damage, I lose. In other words, I can't actually cast the Sowing Mycospawn. I can cast Malevolent Rumble for what it's worth. It just means we'd have to sack the spawn immediately. Is there a benefit to that, is the question. You'd be able to grab a permanent for what it's worth. What permanent would be worth grabbing, though? It's really close. Do I just pass? If they have a haste creature, I lose? If I try and keep a creature on board, I also lose. So there's no winning here. What would we want to grab off a Rumble? That's the next question. If I were to grab let's say an Emrakul. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We could grab 11. Rumble. Aragast. I don't think Aragast cuts it. I'll grab it just in case. I'll immediately sack you and pass. And pass. Down to 1. Son of a... Yeah, you got it. Just barely. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I could have done there. We knew about the Searing Blaze and how it could deal us 1 damage, thus we couldn't leave a body on board. Otherwise it guaranteed us losing. Casting the Sowing Mycospawn. I suppose we could have kicked the Sowing Mycospawn, but then we potentially lose to a land, right? If I'm not mistaken, because Searing Blaze would deal us 3 damage. Or is it only 2? Searing Blaze... 3 damage. So then we just lose to a land. Because we could cast Mycospawn, kick it, target Barbarian Ring. We'd then be able to Bajuka Bog if they don't respond, but they would have put us down to 1, which means a Searing Blaze kills us. I guess we could have targeted the Inspiring Vantage, meaning that if they Barbarian Ringed, then they wouldn't have any mana. And if they let the cash trigger from spawn search resolve, then we'd have Bajuka Bog. But again, we'd still die to a land. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting question. Let me know down in the comments what you think may have been correct there. I think I played to my outs. Maybe I could have played a bit better. I'm not sure though. Either ways, we'll be back for match 3. Alright, and we're back for game 3 on the draw for game 1. We're gonna mulligan this hand. It is undoubtedly not keepable. Hand's very meh. Like, it's not bad. Actually has a lot of hits, but it is very meh. I'll keep it, drop a forest, and pass. It is going to be very reliant on our top deck. Play to Delta. Fetch. Island. Rainstone. Fascinating. Was not expecting to see that today. I'll go Temple, pass, and pass. I was initially going to go Mr. Rainforest pass, but Temple is good. Alright, we'll go Forest for the Rumble. Does Rumble resolve? I don't anticipate it to, but let's see. And there's a Spell Snare and pass. What's up with this Brainstone, though? Meticulous Archive. Huh. Interesting. Pass. Flooded Strand. And pass. So it feels very control-y. Attempt Malevolent Rumble again. Fetch. Hollowed Fountain Shock. Natural Cast Force Negation. Snapcaster for Spell Snare. Okay. Fascinating. So, yep, control something. Not sure if just the Zorius control or what. Been seeing a lot of control decks recently in leagues. I'm not sure what's entirely up with that. Play the Misty and pass. And put a pause on their end step. Castle Vantress, so definitely control. If the Snapcaster alone was not evidence enough. Second main, casting Jace the Mind Sculptor. So Brainstorm. We'll fetch with Misty Rainforest. Grab a commercial district. Top deck is a Karn. Is Karn good enough here? I mean, it's not great. It turns off Brainstone for what it's worth, but plays directly into a Force, which isn't good. It does nothing to stop Jace, and Snapcaster will start smacking in the face immediately. So I think Karn needs to go. Kozilek's return's okay. Tempted to play Ghost Quarters to get rid of the Castle Vantress just so they can't scry the top deck away. There's also the idea of if the cards they put on top aren't great, maybe Ghost Quarters okay right now. So let's do this. Let's first attempt to resolve return to get rid of Snapcast. See if they have a force that they're wanting to spend. I'm doubtful, but let's find out. Okay. So they must be confident on what's on top. Let's see if they want to shuffle that away. And pass. They do. Okay. And pass. The major downside of doing that is, of course, if I draw into a 7 mana value spell, I can't cast it. We'll take the 2 from Snapcast. Imagine they tick up our... Okay, tick up on Jace targeting me. they might just be going for the ulti. Yeah, kind of just what I said. Well, I will play his Stomping Grounds tapped and pass. Rainstone. Yeah, maybe I was a bit aggressive with the quarter. And pass. Next turn he can cast the World Breaker for what it's worth, but it is one turn behind. I think, yeah, maybe just an unfortunate misplay. It was a gamble, I suppose. Maybe not a good one, or at least one that was, maybe not one that was worthwhile. Or he could have instead set up for the World Breaker or an A7 mana value spell off the top. So it potentially cut off some of their avenues, but they have a ton of card advantage. So us forcing them to shuffle away 2 cards they may have wanted isn't the biggest deal for them when they can Brainstone or Jace and Brainstorm. And they're going to continue ticking up Jace at this point. They're going for the ult. Once again, leaving it on top. Counter what? Excuse me? Fascinating. Oh, I'm going to attempt to, World Breaker. I'm going to say maybe we get rid of this counterbalance. Counterbalance down. Does World Breaker resolve? It does. I'm going to expect a Solitude evoked here. No Solitude. Fascinating. Oust. Huh. Okay. Forgot that card existed. So leaves the card on top. We're getting dangerously close to their ult. Well, I'm going to attempt to resolve 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Loveland Rumble. If this resolves, we're guaranteed a body on board. So we'll choose Breaker. Name Eldrazi. Breaker will get rid of a Hollowed Fountain and pass. Problem is we're going to need 2 attacks to get through the chase. Yeah, us being behind by 1 turn. Yeah, Ghost Quartering earlier was wrong. It was aggressive. I recognize that. They will choose the draw 3 though. So it tells me that they're not confident that Jace alone will get there. So Breaker's good. At least Breaker is seen as a threat. Okay, nothing at sorcery speed to interact with Breaker. I'll go to combat. Attack at Jace. Goes the block. Blocks his Snapcast. Attempt to resolve Talisman of Impulse. Looks like they'll counter it. We'll play the Ugin Lab. And pass. We'll hold up the ability to respond. We're going to return World Breaker to hand. Seriously. Yeah, that's a miracle, alright. This does mean we're in a bit of trouble. We're guaranteed to resolve World Breaker. Put a pause on end step. 1, 2, 3. And sack Ugin Lab. Alright, well. Don't want to chance them countering the Talisman. We'll get rid of Archive and pass. Brain Surge. Yeah. Like I said, again, me being too aggressive with the Ghost Quarter definitely set me back by not casting World Breaker turn earlier. Because right now, just racing against the clock against this Jace and trying to reduce the amount of its loyalty as quickly as possible. Meticulous Archive. Will they tick up Jace is the question. If they do, it means that they're confident in their ability to ultimate it next turn. If they draw 3 cards instead, then they're not. I guess they could alternatively return it to hand, but not sure if that would work. So they'll draw. This means they're not confident on Jace being able to ult next turn. So that's good news for us. It also means that our top deck is not interacted with. And we have a lot of things that we can hit off the top here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Everything from Emrakul. Speak of the devil, and it shall appear. Let's attack Jace, see if they have anything. I will admit, it would have been really funny if Jace got to 13 and we were able to cast this Emrakul and then ult their Jace against them. Tis an Emrakul. Jace the Mind Sculptor, at one point in time, knows one of the best cards in Magic the Gathering's history. Kind of wild when you think about it. Brain Surge, okay. So counterspell, prismatic ending force. We'll draw. Polluted Delta. I'm trying to think. Well, that's Polluted Delta. Let's fetch. Do have another Meticulous Archive. Entreat the Angels. 3 more Terminus. Holy hell. We could Meticulous Archive. But I think we just fail to find. Let's draw 3, put 2 cards, hand on top. Well, do we want to do that? Return target creature to its owner's hand. I don't want a plus, but do I want to draw them a card? Not sure about that either. So maybe we just go counterspell and counterspell the counterspell. But we'd actually have to have something to cast first, wouldn't we? I guess counterspell the counterbalance? We wouldn't be able to do that, would we? Because double blue. Guess we could cast Prismatic Ending. And opponent just concedes. Alright. So more control. Win for game 1. We'll be on the draw. Well, we'll bring in the Chrysalis. Cut the returns. The question is, what else do we bring in? Probably 2 Stonebrain. Cut 2 Karn. Sorry, cut 1 Karn. Yeah, that seems correct. It did seem like for the most part, their win condition was either Entreat the Angels or Jace. So it's important to note. Definitely an interesting deck between Counterbalance, Jace, Brain Surge, Brainstone, the Castle Vantress to set up everything. Yeah, really fascinating. So it really does revolve around Counterbalance. Thankfully for us, our mana values are a little bit big for them. So I don't foresee counterbalance being very good here in this matchup. I guess there's Terminus. And treat the angels and such. Either ways, I think we should be relatively favored here, especially if we do find ourselves with a Cavern of Souls. On the play for game 2, I think we can keep this. Go Forest, Sprawl, attempt to resolve it so we can Writhing Chrysalis on 2. Not a lot of threats in hand, which is the only downside. I'll keep, and I'll pass. They mulligan down to 6. Well, they mulligan down to 5. Nope, they go to 6. And Island pass. Forest, Utopia Sprawl on red, and pass. So 7 mana value spell off the top would be nice. That would give us Chrysalis. However, it seems like they have a counter spell in hand. So we could play it right now. Ugin Lab. Imprint Devourer. Let's not play directly into them, so I'll play the Talisman of Impulse and see if they counter that. This also makes us insulated to a Spell Pierce, so they have it. They do not counter it, though. Flooded Strand and pass. Yeah, I wonder if it's just correct to wait until we have the ability to double cast here. I think that might be correct, or until they get itchy enough to cast something of relevance. We also threaten them with a Kozilek's command, so I imagine they just hold here for a while. But they'll Brain Surge here. Yep. One, two, three, four, five. If you draw into a 7-mana value spell, then we can play Devourer next turn. It might be worth it for us to return it to hand on end step. Especially if they cast a Jace, for example. Ridiculous Archive. But if not, maybe we just hold. I think the thing I'm worried about the most here might be a Harbinger. Thankfully, I'll be able to play Chrysalis through the Harbinger. Mission Briefing. Fascinating. Okay. I mean, there's a World Breaker. It's not a double cast, but it would be good. Two, four, five, six, seven. Well, I will Ugin Lab. No imprint. Attempt to resolve a World Breaker, getting rid of Hollowed Fountain and pass. See if you have a consigned to memory. Opponent scoops it up. Fascinating. What do they have in hand? Okay. Well, on to match 4. Alright, and we're back for match 4 on the draw for game 1. Opening hand is not, like, it is, but it's not keepable, not in a meaningful way. Like, the main thing that makes his hand better would be a Ugin's Lab. And yes, we can see 8 deep, but I think they're better 6-card hands. Excuse me. Gemstone Cavern. We love to see that. I will keep this. I will... Okay. To keep return or not keep return, that is the question. If this is energy, return's fantastic. If it's not, then it's kind of meh. What's the alternative, however? We can't get rid of the forest. We can't get rid of the gemstone. We could get rid of the talisman, but that feels meh. I think we do get rid of the return. Reveal Devourer, play gemstone, exile Devourer, and then pass. Island. Aether. Oh no. It's fish. That is probably the worst thing that I could have just seen. Yeah. Uh-huh. Eldrazi Temple. Lord have mercy. We could Forced Rumble. That gives us a decent amount of mana next turn. We could just Talisman. Think Forest Rumble's correct. Mycospawn's good here. Gets a body on board, ramps us. We'll hold up the ability to respond. I foresee a Spreading Seas in our future, and the main thing I'm really worried about is a Harbinger. There's a guarantee that a Harbinger is going to be played this game. I'd say in 2 turns to be exact. Spreading Seas won't matter too much since we didn't play the Temple haphazardly. What the hell? I was like, what? Tapping Aether Vial for no reason? Just to give me a heart attack? What 0-cost Merfolk do you have? Like, this has to be Merfolk. Univault, yep. Even more reason to suggest Merfolk. Another Vial, okay. Really? Aragast. Well, that makes things interesting now, doesn't it? Eldrazi Temple. We'll cast the Sowing Mycospawn. I'm going to grab a Sanctum of Ugin and attempt to resolve a Talisman of Impulse. Okay, let's hope they don't blow us out here. We're just passing. If we do play our cards right, we can get a turn 3 Emrakul. Cavern of Souls, naming Merfolk, shocker. Somehow names humans, I'll be so confused. Actually, even better yet, names squirrels. Tide Shaper hits the temple, that is fine. Worldbreaker. Attacking in is maybe not a good idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's emerge Aragast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we want to exile our hand? I'm gonna say no. One, two, three, four, five. At the same time, maybe yes? Yeah, it's fine. Another Aragast. Yes. Emrakul, the Promised End. Resolve Aragast. Play Temple. Actually, probably play Wooded Foothills. Let's first cast Emrakul. So turn 3 Emrakul. To my turn. Aether Vial in. Lord of Atlantis. Other merfolk have Island Walk. There's another Tide Shaper. Most of their stuff is going to have between 3... Yeah, I'm not sure. Do we tick up or not? Between 1 and 3 mana, right? I want to read Tide Shaper real quick. Target land becomes an island. Okay. So we could kick Mutavault. That's a thought. We can attack in Lord of Atlantis. I think I'm going to say no and no. And draw. Sink into Stupor. Sink into Stupor can bounce target permanent and opponent controls, and that's important to read. So it could just be useful to bolt in. Yeah, it could just be useful to bolt in. So I think we just play bolt. I'm going to kicker, Tide Shaper, and target Mutavault. Go to combat. Attack him with Lord. Block the Lord of Atlantis. Pass. And put a pause on end step. Probably not even put a pause. We'll just hold the ability to respond. We know they have a land in hand, and that's about it. And opponent scoops it up. Okay, that could have been a whole lot worse. I'll tell you what. Chrysalis in, return in, cut Karn. And I think that's it. Run it back. They're going to bring in Harbingers, Fork and Signs. It's going to be a messy game 2, game 3. I'll keep this. Keep. And pass. Island. Vial. Pass. Forest. Utopia Sprawl. You have a force on red. And pass. And pass. We'll try and resolve Chrysalis. Otawara. Master of the Pearl. Eldrazi Temple. Hold up the ability to respond. Like, we get the body on board, so that's good news. This now means if they Harbinger, we're kind of okay with that because we still have double colorless. Cavern of Souls. Naming Merfolk. Because a Harbinger plus another Lord with Island Walk would be a problem. Tide Shaper will make our forest an island, which means the Utopia Sprawl falls off. Oh, okay. That's fine. World Breaker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We will Ugin Lab. Imprint. Talisman of Impulse. Pass the turn. They just attack with a Tide Shaper. I kind of don't care. Yeah, that's fine. I can't block it. End step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can cast you in full. Scry and exile. Probably should have done this in response to them attacking, I suppose. This way we could have blocked another Emrakul. Top. That resolved, which I find surprising. I'm going to attempt to kick a Myco Spawn. Have I played land this turn? Hold up. I have. I'll kick the Cavern of Souls. Do you have a consign? I feel like you would have used that on the K command. I mean, we'll grab our Cavern of Souls, naming Eldrazi. And go to combat. Yeah, so I want to say probably just a Smite misplay on my part for not casting K command, targeting the Lord. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we do have an uncounterable Emrakul next turn. Is this a Harbinger? Sevulin. Sevulin's fine. Aether Vial won't tick up. I mean, I guess you do have that, like the reveal Merfolk that are 4 or greater, but I doubt you do anything of that. You draw a card. Does it do anything when it connects? No, just other Merfolk have Ward 1. Okay, that's fine. Down to 14. Plays a land and Aether Vial. That's fine. If they had the Harbinger, they would play the Harbinger. So just to confirm, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So lab. No imprint. Trigger 1. Trigger 2. Cast in a big ol' Emrakul. It is uncounterable at that. If you have a consign, you have a consign. Deshaun's Tidebinder can counter the trigger, but the Emrakul's still going to be a 13/13 because it's currently a spell on the stack. It'll be a 13/13 flying pro, yada yada yada. We can attack with the Writhing Chrysalis. Might be better for the Myco spawn. If they want a 1-for-1 trade, that's fine. It's going to be very difficult for them to deal with Emrakul. Next turn we'll have an uncounterable World Breaker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. Sevelin's indestructible. So you can at least draw a card. Well, that matters the question. Because they're going to have to block across the board. Lest they just die. Yeah, like I said, the only misplay I can think of is that we didn't cast the command after they cleared attackers to exile the Pearl Trident. That way we could have blocked with the Writhing Chrysalis. There's a thought that we should leave back blockers in case they are able to get a couple lords on the field. The problem is that that Tide Shaper makes it so that way they have Island Walk. So it might not exactly make sense to leave back blockers, especially when they're going to be forced to block. Return World Breaker to hand. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to exile the Aether Vial. They use it now. Another Tishana's. Once again, can counter the trigger, but won't do anything to the actual body. And again, they're going to be forced to block both of these. So I'll attack with all. They have something to flash. Another Tishana, maybe? Sink. Yep, so they'll be forced to block at least the Sowing Myco spawn. I'll trade. And I'll play the Windswept Teeth and pass. Put a pause on end step. I mean, they need to win this turn. Or find some way to deal with Emrakul, but I don't think there's any way to do so in a meaningful way. They can't use Sync, because Emrakul's pro instant. Okay, so that's what I was kind of thinking about earlier. That's 7, that's 11. No shot. Okay, that's fine. Oof. Down to 3. I can't block. That was scary. And we got there. Alright, not bad. Honestly, a pretty bad matchup, so I'm pretty happy to win the 2-0. That said, we'll be back for match 5. Alright, and we're back for match 5 on the draw for game 1. Hand's a bit meh, especially if this Utopia Sprawl gets hit, but we also have a high percentage of drawing into lands, so I'll keep this. It's okay if we don't get interacted with. Guide of Souls, and it's also good into energy, so I'll take my W's where I can. But we're first going to have to hope and pray that our opponent does not Static Prison this Utopia Sprawl. Or have main, I guess also Thraben Charm, but this looks to be Jeskai, if I had to wager a bet. Sacred Foundry, maybe not. Double Guide of Souls. We could really use a land off the top here. Oh, they have 3. This means that's now out of range of Kozilek's return. Yikes. There's the land we're looking for. Promised End. I need to sweep board. We can Talisman, then sweep. There's no reason why we have to do it at sorcery speed, so we can hold a turn. See if they play something main, and see if we can get them to use more energy. They have to know that we're going to sweep, or attempt to. Hollowed Fountain. Mockingbird? Yes, that's fine. Ocelot Pride or a Guide of Souls? Another Guide of Souls. Okay. Only downside of this is now they can buff their Guide of Souls that they already have even more. Don't like that. They would have been able to do so regardless. Yes. Let's see if they make a mistake. There's no difference regardless. They did use it. Okay, so we should be able to respond now. Galvanic Discharge. We'll return. So no counters on that, but they can put more counters on this. Thankfully we'll have Chrysalis as a blocker next turn. So we'll be down to 10, but they only have one card in hand now. The discharge was aggressive. Okay. Another lab. Oh, that means I can rumble. Another Emrakul or Devourer. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we could Emrakul here. Devourer might be safer, however. So I will grab the Devourer. One, two, three, four, five. So green, red. I should cancel that. Let me play the lab. No imprint. Green, red. Cast Chrysalis. So we can block, but it doesn't mean Chrysalis cannot survive. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We also could cast Emrakul if we draw into a land. I'll block. Elegant Parlor. It would really suck if you top a Flage. What we think, an opponent? Clearly going to be a difficult choice. Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 12. So yeah, we're one short on the Emrakul unless we draw into a land. Otherwise, we can just play the Devourer, and I think that's just as good, especially with this Kozilek's Return sitting in hand as well. What are we debating on? If it's Flage, it just makes sense to put it into Yard, right? So what could it be? A Johnny. Okay. Well, there's a command. Well, let us cast Devourer. resolve. We can now hold up the command if needed. Though it is only on x equals 0, it's still relevant. And opponent scoops it up. Alright. Win for game 1. Let's bring in the Writhing Chrysalis and the return Cutting Karn. I imagine opponent's going to bring in Consign. That is one of the major reasons for them to splash blue, as well as Mockingbird, of course. Yeah, Mockingbird is surprisingly kind of a messed up card. For 1 mana, you can copy Gydasol's Ocelot Pride, some of the best 1-drops in the game. For 2, you can copy a Johnny, flip a Johnny, get a token. For 3, Season Pyro. What is it? Not White Orchid Phantom. Ranger Captain of Eos. Yeah, Mockingbird's a pretty good card, to say the least. Definitely not surprised seeing that used more. Where Jeskai gives energy access to Mockingbird and Consign. And there's Mardu that gives them access to Fatal Push, to Thoughtseize, the Bowmaster. Yeah, at this point I'm kind of surprised that there's just Boros energy. Maybe people who play Boros energy specifically can tell me why you would choose Boros energy over Jeskai or Mardu at this point. I feel like the 3rd color splash is pretty inconsequential. Probably doesn't hurt your mana base all too much or doesn't strain it all too much. It gives you access to really good cards for very little investment. On the draw for game 2. Hand is meh. Right? Like, it's not bad. It's not great, though. I will keep it and pass. It does feel a little bit meh. It's a turn 3 Mycospawn, turn 4 Chrysalis. They're going to Ragavan here. Does make me a little bit worried about Charmaw now. Sprawl would have been good if we had a forest. Would be fantastic, in fact. I'll play the temple and pass. And pass. The forest would still be really good here. Of course, Ragavan's going to hit either a forest or a fetch. Okay, so Mycospawn's fine. That could be worse. Arena of Glory. Yeah. I think this hand's too slow. Probably should have mulliganed in retrospect. The fast Ragavan starts are just kind of hard to keep up with in general, but keeping a slow hand like this even more so. Like, if we get to our 3rd turn with everything intact, then we're in a great spot. I'm not confident in that happening. Oof. Well, I will Talisman. Pass. I foresee a Charmaw in my future, potentially a hasty Charmaw, in fact. Let's see it, friend. Opponent's thinking. Excuse me. Thought about taking a nap earlier, but ended up Watching a few shows instead. I truly believe more people should take more naps throughout the day. I took one yesterday, like just a solid like hour and 30-minute nap, throwing some YouTube and whatnot. 1000% believe that I was more alert when playing Magic as a result. Alright, opponent. What you got? He did not draw into what we wanted. Yeah, I'm trying to think in retrospect what would have made this hand really good. Obviously, like a lab, forest. I guess we drew into the Utopia Sprawl, so not as relevant. I think the lab would have been the best card that we could have drawn. Maybe a K command. Fetch a Strand, Hallowed Fountain, Shock. Mockingbird on a Johnny, flip a Johnny. Oh, yeah. Wait. Opponent. About that. You selected the wrong one. Oops. Yeah. So. That's good for me. We'll take mistakes where we can get them. We somehow survive with everything on board, which is shocking to me. So let's go Windswept Teeth. I'll fetch with Windswept Teeth. I'll grab a forest. I'll Utopia Sprawl. 4 red. We can Sowing Mycospawn, but then what? Not really much. So I think we Writhing Chrysalis here instead. It gives us more blockers. We can hold up the Ghost Quarter. Is there a world where you want to Ghost Quarter their Arena of Glory right now? Honestly, yes. It stops a hasty Charmaw, but we can also block Charmaw. So I'm not as worried about that. So I think we're okay. Now you can block the Charmaw, block the Ragavan, block the cat, so we only take 2. So I think we're in an okay position. I got a message on Discord just now and just saw it, and I'll call out the person in specific. The Hyperborean Gut, love the name, sent a message, and it is interesting being in the spotlight, for lack of a better term, right now. You know, have people's eyes on me playing Magic. And what I would say a relatively high level, you know, as much as I think people like myself, like RCQ grinders, don't think the RC is like a major achievement, it is when you think about it. Like your average player doesn't get to go to an RC, let alone like have dreams of going to a PT. And I have to say that you guys, you know, the community from Discord, from YouTube, from Twitter, etc., really do push me to play better, push me to be better, and just kind of keep me going. So I know it's random, but thank you. I know I say thank you at the end of every video, and yeah, I mean, it's kind of the thing to do. But this one definitely comes from the heart. Not that it isn't meaningful when I say it other times, but thank you guys for all your support. It really does mean a lot, and it does keep me going in a lot of ways. So I appreciate you all. With that said, let's take a look at this hand. So we have Misty. We would like another blocker. I mean, we could just freaking just bring out Chrysalis for days. 1 Chrysalis, 2 Chrysalis. You could also go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, I'm thinking maybe just go Chrysalis, Chrysalis. Because 2, 4. We could also go Myco Spawn, right? So, could we go the full gambit? I don't think we can. I don't think we have enough red sources. I think we can either go Sowing Myco Spawn and Chrysalis, or 1 Chrysalis. Or 2 Chrysalis. I think we can go 2 Chrysalis, right? So we can go Misty. Fetch. And grab a Forest. And just kind of bog up the board is what I'm aiming for right now. And with the amount of spawns we're going to generate, we're going to have some really big Chrysali. So grab a Forest. Play Chrysalis number 1. I will say, if they hadn't messed up without a Johnny, we'd be in... I think we'd be... The game would be over. Point blank statement. It would be a good old GG's. Chrysalis number 1. And then... Chrysalis number 2. We're going to resolve these. I do wonder if there was a world where I should have cast Sowing Myco Spawn and grabbed the Bajuka Bog. I will attack here. I do need to apply pressure to the board. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Almost there. If we had a Kozilek's command, unironically, I think we could win. No, we'd be 1 off, wouldn't we? Yeah, we'd be 1 off. Ah, dang. So 9, 9. Alright, pass it to opponent. See what you got. Each Chrysalis now presents potential lethal damage. There's another Guide of Souls. They can't attack all out. Where Terra's fine. Not ideal, but fine. Ugin's Lab. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we could play both Myco Spawn and World Breaker. Probably want to do that after we attack. They have to block. If they don't, we win. Yeah. Let's see if they see that. Yep, block 1. Block Ranger Captain. Yep. So I guess we do need to sack a spawn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. 10 minus 2 still. Okay, so we're still fine. So sacrifice 1. Triggers across the board. Yep. Alright, we will play the Ugin Lab. No imprint. So let's recount 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. 10 minus 4 is 6, so I can't kick and Mycospawn, but I can Mycospawn. And we'll grab a Sanctum of Ugin. Yep, stack the triggers. Oh, so let me do the smart thing and make sure that these all resolve. Resolve all. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we'll get rid of the Arena of Glory. You have 3 card types in Yard. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we don't have enough for Emrakul. But we do have enough for Uragast. Actually, no, we don't. Never mind, we don't have double red. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I guess another Soin Mycospawn. You had that another Writhing Chrysalis. Chrysalis actually might be correct, but we can't, so Mycospawn it is. Alright, let's see if we get there. Now I have a blocker for anything that flies. We have more than lethal on board. We can kick a Mycospawn next turn to reduce resources. They're right now very much on defense. There's Flage. If we hadn't gotten rid of Arena of Glory, we'd have been dead. They're up to 14, though. Sorry, up to 15. Yeesh. Ragvan, up to 17. They can fly 2 things now. We can block one of them. Will they survive if they do? Okay, let's see what we draw. Utopia Sprawl. It is mana neutral. For red, I will kick the Sowing Mycospawn. Get rid of the red-white source. And then fetch for Bojuka Bog. Bojuka Bog you. So no more Flage. So now it's time for combat. Just from... The problem is that they're not forced to block anything right now. And they can theoretically float 2. So we need at least 2 reach-based blockers. So attacking with Writhing Chrysalis wouldn't force a block. Attacking with Sowing Mycospawn on top of which does. We have 2 reach-based blockers and 1 ground blocker. So I think this is correct. And pass. So they have to block 1, no matter what. They're down to 6, so lethal once again, very much on board. You can block all 3 creatures that are currently on the field, regardless of whether or not they have flying. They have 1 card in hand. Can they win? They cannot, and we got there. Good stuff. Solid 2-0 win against Jeskai Energy. Honestly, pretty good results across the board here. Only losses against Burn, and by a narrow margin there on game 2. So, pretty happy with the 4-1. Honestly, I will be fully transparent in that we had no business winning this match. Our opponent made a misplay by sacrificing their actual Ajani and not the Mockingbird copy. Had they done that, this 1000% would have went to a game 3. But we'll take our wins where we can get them, and I'm sure our opponent learned a very important lesson. That said, as always, thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please do consider hitting that like button if you did enjoy the video. Comment down below if you did notice any misplays I made, any lines I didn't notice, or just some general feedback. For as much as I hope that you all learned from me in both my successes and my failures, I hope to learn from you all as well. And last but not least, if you aren't subscribed and have gotten to this point in the video, it'd be much appreciated if you do subscribe. We're getting closer and closer to our 500 subscriber goal. That being said, folks, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!